Welcome back to another arena analysis video for the first rotating set in the Year of the Dragon. This time we're diving deep into the backbone of arena decks, neutral minions. Just like last time, legendary cards will not be discussed due to how rare they'll show up in arena. Additionally, cards that aren't offered in arena will not be discussed, such as Cthulhu cards. Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to keep up with our Hearthstone content. First, we'll start with some big picture themes and then talk about individual cards that'll leave an impact. Let's begin. In the current Year of the Raven, the early game curve starts on turn 3. This is because we have an overabundance of premium neutral 3-drops that can run over most 2-drops and can even contest 4-drops. In the new rotation, it'll be much different. Let's look at the curve now. In terms of 1 and 2 mana minions, there won't be a huge shift. We'll be losing Firefly, Glacial Shard, and Serenite Taskmaster, but we also gain Mistress of Mixtures and Zombie Chow. We lose Stubborn Gastropod and a bunch of 2/3s, but we also receive a bunch of 2 mana minions. The 3-drops is where things start to change significantly. We lose a bunch of premium 3-drops, and instead we gain Hired Gun, Toxic Sewer Ooze, and Squirming Tentacle. Now, obviously, the new expansion can bring a bunch of 3-drops back into the pool, but we predict the 3-drop dominance will end with the old sets. This means that drafting 2-drops will likely be more important again. The next big topic we want to talk about is win more cards. These cards give you the best value when you're already in control of the board. In the current Year of the Raven, we have Fungalmancer, Deathspeaker, Bonemare, Sunborn Valkyr, and Cobalt Scalebane. You can also argue that Nesting Rock and Amani Warbear are cards that are better when you're ahead. In the upcoming rotating set, you see a stark absence of those types of cards. We can only really identify Daring Reporter, Hosen Healer, and Faceless Shambler as win more effects. In the classic set, Defender of Argus and Dark Iron Dwarf will remain as well. As you can see, none of these cards are as good as a Fungalmancer or a Bonemare. Once again, we have no idea what the new expansion will bring, but we doubt they could replace all the win more cards we'll lose in the next rotation. With a lack of win more cards, what do we actually get instead? For starters, we're gonna see a lot of good taunts that are coming back. We got Sludge Belcher, we got Bog Creeper, we got Psychotron, Second Great Bruiser, and Ancient of Blossoms that all saw play in the past. In Witchwood, we'll still have Rotten Applebomb, Furious Etten, Witchwood Grizzly, and Phantom Militia. That is 9 good taunts coming from the old sets alone. In our current set, we're gonna have a bunch of super late game taunts that will be gone. Aside from Primordial Drake, these taunts all suffer the same potential problem of being dominated by efficient hard removals. For the mid game, the only good taunts that will be leaving are Tar Creeper, Stubborn Gastropod, and Serenite Chain Gang. All in all, with win more effects going out and tons of mid game taunts coming in, we're painting a picture of a much slower mid game than before. Next up is the lack of removal. When it comes to neutral removals, Poisonous Minions and Rush Minions take up the majority of removal effects. In the current meta, we had a bunch of good Poisonous Minions, such as Stubborn Gastropod, Giant Wasp, Stoneskin Basilisk, and Trog Gloom Eater. These cards saw a lot of play in Arena because they were under-bucketed. In the new set, there are no Poisonous Minions other than Emperor Cobra from the classic set. With the absence of poison, taunts will be dictating trades much more often. Cards like Amani Warbear and Steel Rager will also be gone, which dampers mid-game removal even further. Gilnean Royal Guard, Muck Hunter, and Swift Messenger will stick around, and their value should increase due to less removals in the pool. Other than Poison and Rush, we do have some niche minions that act as hard removals. After turn 5, you can see Bomb Squad and Spiked Hog Rider coming out that can deal 5 damage. In a slower meta, Leather-clad Hog Leader can also surprise the opponent with the ability to gain charge. The last removal-ish minion we'll talk about is Kooky Chemist. Switching attack and health seems innocuous on paper, but it can often give you a stronger effect than Dark Iron Dwarf, which provides +2 attack on a minion. This is because many taunt minions have more health than attack. The versatility of Kooky Chemist will definitely be in handy in a meta lacking removals. Let's end the discussion to highlight some premium neutral cards from the old sets. Before we begin, we're not sure what buckets these cards will be in, which can significantly affect how often they appear and warp the meta. For example, Dragon Moss Scorcher and Amani Warbear and Rastakhan were meta-defining because they appeared in nearly 40% of all arena decks. Even so, let's take a look at the premium neutrals from older sets. In no particular order, we'll start with the Tri-Class Discover cards, which includes Cabal Courier, Grime Street Informant, and Lotus Agents. Unless Blizzard places these cards in the top buckets, they'll be quite common in the next set. This is because people generally love the Discover effect. You're given 3 picks that belong in each class. An interesting note is that these Discover minions can also discover themselves. The impact of these cards is twofold. It'll often generate value, and will likely swing the game at some point. Because you can pick a card from 3 different classes, it's impossible to play around these Discover cards. You simply have to hope that they didn't discover the perfect answer. In a similar vein, Cabal Chemist will be picked frequently. Here are all the potions available that the Chemist can give you. The most impactful potions are the 5 damage board clears, Potion of Madness, and Blast Crystal Potion. Generally, it is not advised to play into the 5 damage board clears unless you absolutely cannot afford not to. Bog Creeper was meta-defining in the Whisper of the Old Gods, and we imagine it'll still be impactful in the rotating set. Let's compare Bog Creeper with Furious Etten. The 1 additional attack ensures that it's able to kill many threats on turn 7, such as Abyssal Enforcer and Big Time Racketeer. It'll also kill most 5 drops, as there are a bunch of 4/6 minions such as Spectral Knight. Additionally, the extra health is often not as important. Sure, 50% of the time Gilnet and Royal Guard can trade perfectly into the Bog, but that's about it. In most instances, a minion on turn 6 and turn 7 won't be able to kill Bog Creeper alone. Because of this, you'll often pick Bog Creeper over Furious Etten, and you'll pick Gilnet and Royal Guard to counter Bog Creeper. Among all the neutrals, the only board clear we'll get is Corrupted Seer. Unlike Primordial Drake and Dragonmoss Scorcher, which are both rotating out, the body is severely understated. Still, every class will have access to a 2 damage board clear. We'll end the discussion with overstated minions. Whether we're in a slower or faster meta, overstated minions will always be good. This is because in the first 5 turns, there aren't that many mana-efficient removal spells, and the best counter is another minion of your own. In the low mana curve, we have Zombie Chow and Haunted Creeper as the premium 1 and 2 drops in the game. In the 3 drop slot, we have Nerubian Prophet. If you have Nerubian Prophet in your opening hand, you can play it on turn 3 as a 4/4. Moreover, on turn 4, it'll cost 2 mana, and you can play another 2 drop or hero power. The worst time to draw the Prophet is in your mid-game turns, where you have no cards to play, as Prophet will still cost over 5 mana. The last card we'll mention here is Spiked Hog Rider. As we discussed previously, there are a lot of taunts in the meta. At 5 mana, a 5/5 minion with charge will create a swing in the mid-game. The most likely minions it'll kill are Psychotron, Second Rate Bruiser, and Rotten Applebomb. If you already have a board and they have a taunt, you can even trade up with your weaker minion and have your Hog Rider kill a minion the taunt is trying to protect, like a Daring Reporter. Let's summarize what we've talked about. The 3 drop slot is going to lose many premium minions. We'll also see less win more effects and way more taunts. We will lose most poison minions, and the value of rush minions should increase. And the meta will likely be more value oriented given the sheer power Priest and Warlock received from the old sets. However, we have no idea what the new expansion will bring to the table. All in all, we're very excited as the Year of the Raven comes to a close, and even more excited for the Year of the Dragon. We hope you enjoyed our video, and as always, like and subscribe for more quality Hearthstone content.